Hey everyone, welcome back. This is the Jetson Ryder PRO. It has a flat tire, as I have a few of these that have flat tires because I believe something was being done maliciously in the neighborhood for us not to ride our scooters. Aside from that, the tools you're going to need for this, you're going to need a ratchet with a 19mm socket, Phillips screwdriver, a flathead, possibly one of these if you have access to it. All right, now let's get this done because I'm trying to do it in short. Okay, this is, if I didn't say, the Jetson Ryder PRO with the seat, the electric scooter. Okay, this is the drive wheel, which has the flat, and there's some wires attached to this. So it's not like just loosening up your two nuts and taking it off the axle. It doesn't work like that. All right, first thing you want to do is you want to find your 8 screws. Yes, there are 8 screws. There are 4 on the left, and there are 4 on the right. They are under the grip tape. I removed the grip tape from the prior one I did as a learning lesson. I'm doing this now to save you folks the aggravation, so you possibly can save your grip tape. You want to take this tool here, all right? You want to find them by using your finger and then poke in the middle. These are Phillips head screws. As you can see, pull them out. 3 on each side there. In the back, they go in, they're inward more from these ones. These 3 are in line, the other 3 symmetrical with them. These ones go inward more, all right? That's your first step, so let's get those off, and then it'll drop the bottom where all the electronics and battery are. After removing the 8 screws underneath the grip tape, get your scooter onto the side. Here is your plastic compartment that stores all your electronics. You simply just want to take the time, carefully, without ripping wires, turn it over like this. Okay? Now be careful, this is heavy. You're going to have to take this glue off of here, okay? Then you're going to see more screws in here, little Phillips head screws all the way around here that keep this sealed together. Those are your next step. You need to remove those. Okay, after you remove these screws, you simply take this cover off. Now you can look down in here. You want to trace your wires to your back wheel, which is over here. You're most likely, you will have to cut a couple of zip ties. So you may have to get yourself some small black zip ties because they attach it to the frame. You're going to come through, you got to watch this rubber grommet. That's where you remove the glue. And then you're going to unplug some wires. So trace your wire from your back wheel, and then you're going to come up here and you're going to unplug stuff. So let's get to that. All right, this is your line for your drive to your wheel. So what you're going to do is find all that. When you get that far, this is what you're going to connect. It's very simple. You have blue wire, green wire, yellow. Then you have this connector and this connector. That's all you have to unplug. After you disconnect them, and they're color-coded, so it'll be very easy to reconnect, okay? Just check and make sure, because you do have a couple of wires that are not connected. You don't want to connect them to the wrong ones. So pay attention where you put your wiring. After you do that, you got to run this wire through this grommet. It is stretchy, so you can nice and easily stretch it to slide stuff through. Do it individually, one at a time, and use caution. After you got those wires disconnected, set them aside gently. Disconnect them gently. You will have to cut a zip tie here and right here on the frame. After checking, I apologize. This is not going to be able to be a YouTube short because we're already 4 minutes into it or somewhere thereabouts. So I apologize. But I want to be thorough so there are no mistakes and you don't mess up your scooter. All right? So after you get that far and you safely remove your wire and its connectors from your electronics box, the next step is to take your 19mm and loosen up your nuts on your axle, and you want to pull this out nice and carefully. And remember, you have a disc here, so you have brakes, so you want to be very, very careful. Use caution. Once again, use caution and take your time. Okay, after loosening up your 2 19mm nuts, all right, this is what you got. There's your wire. All right, so you're good. Just take it off carefully. And then the next thing you want to do is you want to remove your tire and your inner tube, obviously, from the rim, and don't forget to take off your valve cap. All right, I'm sure you all know how to do that, so I don't think I need to show you. Okay, here's a little tip. I would suggest to you, your valve stem here, put it on the opposite side of your disc, your brake disc, all right? That way, you won't have any issues when you need to inflate it. I have already inflated it, and I'm assuming you would as well at this time. But however, you know, if you need to add air later in the future or something, or deflate it, you need to access the valve stem, you could always do it much easier from this side as opposed from the disc side. Now moving on. When reinstalling your rear tire, be careful of your disc. Make sure it goes in first. Line it up before you even line up your rear axle bolts. You don't want to have any issues with your brakes, and you certainly don't want to bend your disc. When inserting your back wheel, your disc, make sure everything is clear, okay? Make sure your washers, and check the top for washers. You don't want them falling down in here. Make sure everything is aligned perfectly. Again, use caution, and most importantly, you see your wire here, your drive wire, you want that to fall right down in behind here so you can tuck it in this direction so that you can rewire it. Use caution. Once again, you are using like I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. You have wiring here, so just use caution, okay? Much caution. I have a dog attacking me. She wants to say hi. Hi, Willow. Willow. Get down, honey. Okay, after you reattach your rear wheel, you want to make sure, again, don't pinch this wire in here. You're good. It has to tuck towards the back side. Then there's a hole right up in here in your frame. So you want to zip tie that down right there. And then you want to zip tie them together. But before you do that, what you want to do is you want to get into your wiring. So that's your next step. Basically what you're doing is reversing the process of what you've done when you started. Okay? So once you replace your wheel, the first thing you do is get it back on and snug it down. Okay? Then you want to come over here and you want to do your wiring. So let's get that done. Remember, it's all color coordinated. Green, blue, yellow. It's a green, blue, and yellow. And then you have your two little connectors, which are here and over there. And it's that simple. Be careful. Take note. When running them through the grommet, okay, one at a time. When you run them through this and it stretches, take your time. Don't rip your wiring. Again, I apologize that this is not a short. I tried to make it that way. Otherwise, I'd have this format tilted this way. So, unfortunately, though, I got our wires together. You got your green, yellow, blue, and you got your two connectors in. Now, before you button everything up, it's very important that you check, power up your scooter, and make sure you have power. Make sure you have drive to your wheel, and you have brakes. All right, so we got it powered up. We're on. Okay, give it some throttle. All right, we're good. All right, and brake, power, brake. Now it's making a weird noise. Well, okay. I mean, just a minor adjustment, but we're good. Okay, so now I can power the scooter off, and then I have to I zip tied this now that I have everything in. This grommet has to be turned its proper way, the round edge facing down, okay? And then we want to seal all that up, and then you want to after you get all that connected, you want to zip tie this right here. So up in here. So let's get that. And again, I apologize. This is not a short. I initially thought I could do it in a short, but there's too much detail here. I don't want to leave out for someone that may not have a mechanical ability but wants to be able to do this on their own without spending a fortune paying somebody to do it, because that's exactly what they'll charge you. Probably charge you a minimum of 100, 150 bucks, if not more. All right, so we have it all buttoned up now. It's all nice and tight. We're going to gently, like we did before, we're reversing the process. We're going to flip it up. We're going to align the holes. We're going to put the screws in. We're not going to tighten them down. We're just going to get all the screws started in all 8 of those. Then what we're going to do is come back. Once we get them in here, we'll adjust this so it's where it's supposed to be. And then we can get into the zip tying of the wires and making sure everything's nice and secure so we don't sustain any damage while riding. Okay? Alright, so once you have your screws lined up to your electrical box connector, underneath that box that, it conceals all your electronics, so it keeps it dry and so forth. Okay, these screws were very difficult to line up, okay, with the grip tape on, and we're trying to save the grip tape. So another tool that you're going to need is a flashlight, without a doubt, okay? Even if you're doing this outside, wherever, you're going to need a flashlight. So let's go over now, because I think it would be a good time to go over the tools you're going to need to do this, okay? You're definitely going to need a Phillips screwdriver. Possibly a couple of flathead screwdrivers. If you have tire spoons for this particular size, or any tire spoon, that would work as well. If you don't know what a tire spoon is, they are old school tools my dad used to have. I just recently used them a few years back. Love you, Dad. Miss you. I want to say something now, but I'm getting sidetracked from it. I'm having a thought with some anger, because those tools were probably given away to random people thanks to how things were handled by a illiterate sibling who stole pretty much everything. I don't want to go there. I'm sorry. Anyhow, you'll need tire spoons or flathead screwdrivers. If you're using flatheads, you got to be careful. You don't want to puncture tubes. You will need a 19 millimeter socket for your rear tire, or the nuts on the axle. You'll need a pair of side cutters. You will need some zip ties. All right, and you'll need an air pump if you have a handy dandy little portable one like that. And for getting into this grip tape and that, I recommend one of these. These are snap-on tools. You could also, you can use like an ice pick or something. You want to find that center, and when you do, you want to puncture it. Now, mind you, you won't see the screws, but now you can. So, but anyhow, I hope all that's helpful to you. So basically where I'm at now is I know that it works. I've buttoned everything up. I just have to tighten all these up and just make sure, all the necessary adjustments for the rear wheel and so forth. And that's pretty much it. So with that said, I want to thank you very much for watching. And if you have a Jetson Ryder Pro, this particular model, now you know how to do it. And maybe you can use this video as a like a guideline for perhaps another Jetson product. I don't know, but now you have an idea. I have another one I have to do over here, but I don't believe it's a drive wheel, so I'm keeping my fingers crossed. So, but now these will all be done, and I've been at this all day. But you know what? They're done. They're done. Which gets me further ahead with the other things I have to do here. So again, I apologize to all of you out there. I was hoping to make this a short. Otherwise, I would have had it go this way instead of this way, Instead of vertical, it would have been horizontal. All right. So anyhow, thank you very much for watching, and I hope this helps all of you. Anyone that might come across this situation, uh, take the time, watch the video as many times as you need, and hopefully it'll help you. Alrighty. Thank you all. Take care, and God bless. See you next time.